padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ācārya Bhagavan Brajesh Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Varigena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatra Dharana Paraha Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunayavatirna Kalau Samarpayitum Munnatojvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Dhyuti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratu Vasachi Nandana Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, we welcome all of our YouTube live listeners, our listeners over Facebook Live, and our dear listeners over Zoom. Welcome to all of you to this day 10 of Sri Gauramrita. So before we move forward, we would like to announce the participants from the quiz session from yesterday. We'd like to congratulate and thank Hari Prasad Prabhu, Mother Flavia, Nutan Purohit Mataji, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Shama Supriya, Devahuti Mataji, Anjali Agarwal Mataji, and Ranjani Gopika Mataji. Thank you all so much. We are so indebted to all of you, and we encourage more and more devotees to please participate in this quiz session so that your understanding can be more enhanced, as well as we get an opportunity to glorify all of you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
So today we start with chapter 12, the expansions of Advaita Acharya and Gadādhara. Now this chapter has 92 verses, and this 12th chapter, it describes the followers of Advaita Acharya, among whom are also the followers of Achyutananda, who is the son of Sri Advaita Acharya. And then these are actually understood to be pure followers who received the cream of the philosophy of Sri Advaita Acharya that he gave. Other descendants and followers of Advaita Acharya are not so much recognized, as what this chapter says, but it includes narration concerning the son of Sri Advaita Acharya. His name was Gopal Mishra, and another servant of Advaita Acharya whose name is Kamalakanta Vishwas. And in his early life, actually, Gopal Mishra, he fainted during the cleansing of the Gundicha Mandir at Jagannath Puri. And because of that, he became a recipient of the mercy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu.
How? We will find out during the narration of the actual chapter. Very interesting, beautiful pastime, revealing that Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is indeed the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and when he wants, he can do anything. Lord Chaitanya can do anything.
And whatever he does is beneficial, whether he glorifies us or he chastises. That is a bigger mercy. that will be revealed here. That is the story of Kamalakanta Bishwas, which concerns about his borrowing 300 rupees from Maharaj Pratap Rudra to clear Advaita Acharya's debts. And then Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu was very upset and chastised him when he came to know about this clearing of the debts. Why? Stay tuned. In fact, as a result of that, Kamalakanta Vishwas was then purified because of the request of Advaita Acharya to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And so, after describing the descendants of Advaita Acharya in this chapter, it concludes by describing the followers of Sri Gadādhara Pandit. So, we discussed the tree of Lord Caitanya, Lord Nityananda. Today, we'll discuss the trees of Advaita Acharya and Gadādhara Pandit. Advaitanghriyabhya bhringam stan sarasara bhrito khila hitva saran sarabhrito naumi chaitanya jivana. The followers of Sri Advaita Prabhu were of two kinds. Some were real followers and others were false followers. Rejecting the false followers, I offer my respectful obeisance to Sri Advaita Acharya's real followers, whose life and soul was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So Srila Prabhupada explains to us in the, later on during the chapter that what does Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mean by false followers and real followers? Real followers are those who actually take the teachings of the Acharya and they make it their life and soul, and they pass on the exact teachings that they have received from their Acharya without adding anything, without subtracting anything, without multiplying anything, nor dividing it. That is the actual way that we can recognize a real follower. But a false follower, just for satisfying some of their own selfish needs, they may choose to twist and turn the teachings of the acharyas and then propagate it as their own teaching. So therefore they deviate from the line of the teachings of the acharya. That is called as false followers, who do not take the teachings of the acharya as it is, and they totally deviate from the actual teachings. So therefore Advaita Acharya Prabhu, we will see how he had so many followers, but some of them got deviated because they wanted, deviations can come because of many things. They want special prestige for themselves. They want, it's driven by these different anarthas, which are hunger for for name, fame, profit, adoration, and distinction. When we want these things in the society, when we want our name, we feel that if we take the name of our Acharya, then our credibility will go down. Who will know us? Everyone will know our Acharya only. Therefore, I must manufacture something on my own and then add it on. Or I need to, this one, the Acharya, what he said is something very serious and something very, it can't be followed by everyone. So let's subtract it. Or rather, let us, this particular thing, not so okay. Let's remove that part. So when we start doing this to our Acharya's teachings, that is when we are losing the bottom line, which is, giving the message as it is. So that is that is a great lesson that Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu himself is teaching through this particular chapter, how we can become true followers as not to be false followers of our acharyas.
Shri Chaitanya Amarataror Dvitiya Skandha Rupina Srimad Advaita Chandrasya Shakha Rupan Gananuma. I offer my respectful obeisances to all glorious Advaita Prabhu, who forms the second branch of the eternal Chaitanya tree, and to his followers who form his sub-branches. In fact, here it says Advaita Prabhu, second branch of the tree of Lord Chaitanya. There are many, many sub-branches, but Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says it's so difficult, impossible to mention them all. In fact, one of the big sub-branches of Advaita Acharya was his son Achyutananda. From the very beginning of his life, he engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. In fact, Advaita Acharya had three sons who were all devotees of Lord Chaitanya: Achyutananda, Krishna Mishra, and Gopal Das. And they were all born from the womb of his wife, Sita Thakurani. And Advaita Acharya also had three more sons, whose names Balaram, Swarupa, and Jagadisha. So there were six sons of Advaita Acharya. Among the six sons, three were strict followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of these three, Achyutananda was the eldest. Now, Achyutananda became a disciple of Sri Gadādhara Pandit. And he took shelter of Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri, engaged in his devotional service. In fact, in chapter 10, it was described that Achyutananda, son of Advaita Acharya, he lived in Jagannath Puri taking shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Gadādhara Pandit, in the last years of his life, also lived with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri in Sri Tota Gopinath temple. If any of you had joined us for the Jagannath Puri Parikrama during the Purushottam month, you will remember the temple of Tota Gopinath. So it's also when we hear in Madhya Leela the accounts of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing in front of the Rath Yatra cart, Achyutananda Prabhu's name is also there. And when we hear his name, you should remember he's the son of none other than Sri Advaita Prabhu, Advaita Acharya. Some opine, according to some of their opinions, he was an incarnation of Kartikeya, Achyutananda, the son of Lord Shiva. And according to others, he was formerly the Gopi, Achyuta Gopi, who is now Achyutananda.
So Achyutananda is a very, very special person. Very special person. It is said in the Gaura Ganodesh Deepika, in that book, it is mentioned that Sri Achyutananda, when he was just a 3-year-old boy, it is said that he was Digambara. Digambara means he would not wear even any clothes. So that was how young this little boy Achyutananda was. And when Mahaprabhu came to visit him at that time, he just felt like a log in front of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, little Achyutananda. Very, 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 very special soul. Achyutananda is. And Achyutananda, he actually became so dear to Lord Chaitanya. Whenever Lord Chaitanya would see him, this little boy without any clothes, he would come in front of Lord Chaitanya, Digambara Achyutananda, and he would come and Lord Chaitanya would carry him and put him on his lap and said, no, Achyutananda, you don't have to offer obeisances to me. Your father, he is like my father also. So therefore, in that sense, you are my little brother. This was the sweet relationship that Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu shared with Achyutananda. And Achyutananda was very, very dear, is very, very dear to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He was so fortunate that he would sit on the lap of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And Sri Achyutananda, because of that potency that was invested and infested into him, he became a very, very, one of the most strongest branch coming down from Sri Advaita Acharya. And Achyutananda never married. He never got married. He was, serving his spiritual master, Sri Gadādhara Pandit in Jagannath Puri, along with Lord Chaitanya. He was serving both the personalities. And he was the one person who had the fortune of staying back at Jagannath Puri. Although Lord Chaitanya told Advaita Acharya to return back, Achyutananda stayed back in Jagannath Puri to serve Gadādhara Pandit and to serve Lord Chaitanya. It's a very special, extremely special soul. And the fact that he is either Achyuta Gopi or he is Kartikeya. Both of these are confirmed from the Gauraganodesh Deepika that, he is a combined incarnation, just like his father. His father, Sri Advaita Acharya Gosai, he is a combined incarnation of Sadashiva and Mahavishnu. So his son, first son, Achyutananda, is a combined incarnation of Kartikeya, the one of the sons of Lord Shiva, and of Achyuta Gopi from Sri Rajathan.
So then, text 18 explains, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Swami says, Krishna Mishra was a son of Advaita Acharya. Another, Krishna Mishra, Gopal Mishra, Achyutananda, these three were devotees of Lord Chaitanya. And it is said Lord Chaitanya always sat in the heart. Generally in the heart of devotees, there is the Paramatma. Not devotees, every living entity. But in Krishna Mishra's heart, it was not the Paramatma, it was Lord Chaitanya himself who took the form of Paramatma. Now, Sri Gopal was another son. His characteristics are very, very wonderful, especially Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes that when Lord Chaitanya personally was cleansing the Gundicha Mandir in Jagannath Puri, Gopal Mishra, he danced in front of the Lord with great love and happiness. And while all of them danced, Gopal, he was dancing and dancing and dancing, and he fainted in ecstasy and fell to the ground unconscious. And Advaita Acharya Prabhu, he became very unhappy. He said, why did my son is disrupting the dancing of other devotees? Because he fainted. Look, everyone stopped dancing. So he took his son in the lap and he started chanting the Nrsimha mantra for his protection. So this is Mahavishnu who is chanting Nrsimhadev's mantra for the protection of his own son, Achyutananda. Advaita Acharya, he chanted different mantras. But Gopal Mishra did not come to consciousness. All of the Vaishnavas who were present, they were crying in sorrow at seeing this plight. And then Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu came. He put his hand on the chest of Gopal and told him, my dear Gopal, get up and chant the holy name of the Lord. When Gopal Mishra felt the touch of the Lord, when he heard the sound of the instruction of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Gopal immediately got up, and all the Vaishnavas, they chanted the Hare Krishna mantra in great jubilation.
This is the transcendental potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what no one else can do, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu can easily do. Just by the divine touch of his lotus hands, Sri Mahaprabhu, he just revived Gopal Mishra. So wonderful this pastime is that, Advaita Acharya, Mahavishnu, he could not. And there is a very beautiful analogy that is given here that Mahavishnu, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, he also wanted to establish the supremacy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. That what even Mahavishnu cannot do, Sri Krishna as Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu can very easily do just by his mere words, and by his transcendental touch, by his divine touch. This is the potency of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is what Advaita Acharya Prabhu wanted to establish, that those who say that Lord Narayan or Lord Vishnu is the supreme, no. Lord Vishnu is also coming from, he's an expansion coming from Krishna ultimately. That's also established here through the manifestation of this pastime. So we see that, no pastime happens without a reason. This is to establish Lord Chaitanya's supremacy amongst, all of us who may have a doubt that is Lord Chaitanya supreme? Is he doing what he is supposed to be doing as Krishna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Here's our answer. This is how the associates of Lord Chaitanya worked together so that they could intensify and glorify the supreme position of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu.
Next, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami speaks about the confidential servant of Advaita Acharya, Kamalakanta Vishwas. He knew all dealings of Advaita Acharya. And then one time, Kamalakanta Vishwas, he was in Jagannath Puri, and he sent a note to Maharaj Pratap Rudra to someone. No one knew about that note, but somehow or other, that note reached the hands of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. That note, Kamalakanta Vishwas said that Advaita Acharya is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But it also mentions that Advaita Acharya had recently incurred a debt of about 300 rupees that Kamalakanta Vishwas wanted to liquidate. So this was a request to Maharaj Pratap Rudra, please clear the debt of Advaita Acharya of 300 rupees, which used to be a huge amount in those days.
And what was the reason why? Why should, Pratap Rudra Maharaj liquidate the debt of Advaita Acharya? The reason that Kamalakanta gave is that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you must liquidate his debt.
When Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu heard this reasoning, he became very unhappy on reading the note. Even though his face was still shining brightly as the moon, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unhappy, but he smiled in unhappiness and spoke. In this note, this Kamalakanta Vishwas Prabhu, he has established Advaita Acharya as an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is absolute truth. Nothing wrong in this. He is indeed the Lord himself. But immediately in the next sentence, he has made this incarnation of Godhead as a poverty-stricken beggar. How can Narayan be a beggar? How can Mahavishnu be a beggar? This is the concept of Daridra Narayan. Some philosophers state that everyone is God, and so these poor people are also God. And when they ask, how can God be poor? Then they say, this is Daridra Narayan, and we should give charity to Daridra Narayan. Yes, that's true. We must give charity, but not because they are Narayan who doesn't have money. Narayan, Lakshmi Narayan, he is the husband of Lakshmi Devi. How can he be Daridra? How can he be poverty stricken? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered his personal servant Govinda, from today on, I do not want to see Kamalakanta Vishwas. He is a Bauliya. He was from the Baul Sampradaya. And then Srila Prabhupada actually mentions
that the Baul, the Baul Sampradaya or the Baulars are one of the 13 unauthorized group that pass on as to be the followers of Lord Chaitanya. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he destroyed and he just completely segregated these 13 sects of, Aul, Baul, all of these, the Ativadis, the Chudadharis, the Gauranganagaris, all of these, they are considered to be upper sampradayas, that the ones who have deviated from following the path of their Acharya. And Baul is, from Kamalakanta Vishwas, it is coming. So Kamalakanta Vishwas, although we see that, Baul, Baul means that they sing very beautiful kirtans, but they are all in the mood of Sahajiya, that they sing that as if, they may not be at the level of pure devotional service, but they are just manifesting some, imitating some ecstatic symptoms, imitating some great leelas of the Lord, very confidential leelas of the Lord. They're enacting it, and they just derive those, pleasures to some, very low life kind of, sects of people. So, just misinterpreting the pastimes of the Lord, basically. That is how bowels are considered to be not so proper in the mood of our acharyas. Therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he took a very strict stance of just alienating these 13 sects and saying them not to be the actual followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
And when Kamalakanta Vishwas heard about this punishment by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became very, very distressed, unhappy. And he went and he told Advaita Acharya, I was just trying to petition to clear your debt, to help you, to serve you. I'm your servant. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know, and because I gave this reasoning, he has rejected me. He has given me this punishment. He didn't say rejected. He said, he has given me this punishment that I cannot have his darshan at all. How will I live? When Advaita Acharya heard this, he became very pleased. Wow! Kamalakanta, why are you so unhappy? You are very, very fortunate. You have the great fortune of being chastised and punished by none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I am not so fortunate like you. Formerly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he always respected me as a senior, and I did not like that he respects me. So my mind was affected by unhappiness. So I made a plan. And this plan in detail we'll reveal in the later chapters. Actually, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavat has described this pastime which Advaita Acharya is just hinting upon here in great detail. And later, during the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, we will describe this pastime in greater detail from Chaitanya Bhagavat. But right now, we're just putting in a hint, as Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has said. And Advaita Acharya said, I made a plan because I didn't like, I am his servant. Why does Lord Chaitanya always respect me? To all others, he gives instructions. To me, he doesn't even give any instructions. He thinks I'm higher than him. Actually, I'm the servant of the servant. So I started expounding the Yoga Vashishta. And that Yoga Vashishta considers the ultimate goal of life is mukti, is liberation. And that is the highest, not bhakti. And when I started preaching this, the Lord became so angry because one of his purposes of descent is to disprove the Mayavad philosophy and expose the falsity of the Mayavad philosophy. And I was doing exactly that. I was actually glorifying the Mayavad philosophy. The Lord became so angry and he treated me with an apparent disrespect and he chastised me. And when he chastised, I became so ecstatic, so happy. You have finally considered me as your servant. And therefore you're chastising me. You care about me. You're not dismissing me by just giving me respect. And because we take the liberty to punish someone who we think is close to us, who can take that punishment, who deserves our punishment. We think punishment means it's a sign of neglect, but actually respect in one sense is a sign. But punishment means someone really, really cares for you. And loves you and takes that liberty that because you are mine, I will take that right to punish you.
To rectify.
To rectify you. And so I was very happy, just like he had punished Mukunda. When Mukunda was punished, and when Lord Chaitanya told, he will go and tell him, he will not see me in so many different lifetimes. In fact, Mukunda, he was a great friend, he was an associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he used to visit many places where people were against Vaishnavism. He would associate with devotees, and he would listen to the association of devotees, glorify devotees, wonderfully hear it, apply it in his life. But then he would also go and associate with people who did not like the Vaishnava cult, Vaishnavism. And so when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know about this, he punished Mukunda. Said, don't see me again. And even though Lord Chaitanya is, his heart, he is soft like a flower, but he can be strict like a thunderbolt. And everyone was afraid to allow Mukunda to come again into the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mukunda became very, very sad, became very sorry. He asked his friends, I cannot go in front of Lord Chaitanya, but can you please go to Lord Chaitanya and ask, if I cannot have his darshan now, when can I be eligible to have his darshan next? So devotees brought this, asked this to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya said, well, Mukunda wants to know when he can see me. He will get permission to see me after many millions of years. And all the devotees, their heart was broken. How can we tell Mukunda this reply? So they went to Mukunda, but they did not bring this topic up. And Mukunda was eager. Did you ask? Did you ask Lord Chaitanya? And they were not so much replying. He said, what did my Lord say? He was asking everyone. And everyone just hung their head and said, well, Lord Chaitanya said that Mukunda will get permission to see me after millions of years. They gave this information to Mukunda. He danced with jubilation. Mukunda was, Hari Bol, I will see, I will see. And devotees asked, hold on, why are you dancing? Did you hear? He said millions of years. He said exactly. He said after millions of years, I will see him. I'm so grateful. I didn't even deserve to see him. But he's saying, I will see, just in that hope that after millions of years, my chance will come. I'm dancing in jubilation. There are so many living entities in this world who do not have a guarantee that they will see the Lord, even in millions and trillions of years. But to me, he has given that guarantee. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Started dancing. When Lord Chaitanya heard how Mukunda reacted to this so-called punishment, and he was so patient and grateful for whatever punishment was given. He looked at the positive side, and he was grateful for that positive side, that I will see at least.
I have hope.
I have hope. That faith and patience and gratitude of Mukunda pleased Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya said, bring him here right now. Yes. And in this way, Mukunda was given, because of his attitude, his so-called punishment was immediately transformed into a blessing. This is proof that whenever we are going through some adversity in life, Krishna as Paramatma, Lord Chaitanya as Paramatma is watching from within our hearts. How are we reacting internally? Externally, we may have to do whatever we have to do, but internally, are we complaining? Are we just telling? Are we criticizing internally? Or are we being grateful and trying to look at the positive side? Tattenukampa susamikshamano bhunjana evatva vipakam ritvak vapudbhi vidadhan namaste jiveta yo mukti pade sadaipa. One who lives with gratitude, with his mind, heart, ritvak vapudbhi, his body, his heart, and his words, that person, when he reacts in gratitude, that pleases Lord Chaitanya.
And
that pleases Krishna.
And that inspires the Lord to give, special mercy to such a soul. And such a soul becomes the rightful heir to receive the supreme mercy coming down from Krishna.
This is the secret to transform a curse into a blessing. So, Sri Advaita Acharya, he recounted that. Mukunda got that punishment. And then when I got that punishment, Advaita Acharya received that punishment from Lord Chaitanya, I was so happy. Similarly, Advaita Acharya started saying there was another person who received this kind of punishment. It was none other than Shachi Devi.
So Advaita Acharya Prabhu, he just is giving, these little highlights and not going into the details of the pastimes yet. Even Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is not going into the details of these pastimes. And when it will come in the chronology, he will actually just mention it also in brief. Because remember that Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is going to focus more in detail after Lord Chaitanya left Navadvip and he took sannyas, he accepted sannyas. From that time, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami starts to give details, exact details of what happened with, minuscule. Every conversation is in great, great detail. But before that, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami just mentions these pastimes when it comes in the chronology. Right now, he's just giving little highlights, insights into these pastimes that they're coming. But when these pastimes actually come in the chronology, that time also he just gives a brief mention. And he says that for further details, please read Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, and Sri Chaitanya Mangala, which has a vivid description of this particular pastime. So we see that there is absolutely no kind of competition. That no, I don't want anyone to read any other book other than my book. My book should be read by everybody. That's Kali Yuga mentality. But we see what is the mentality of the spiritual world. Spiritual world, everyone is serving the ultimate purpose, serving that one Supreme Lord for the pleasure of that one Supreme Lord. So whatever is needed to collectively, with love and trust amongst each other, they're serving together the one mission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is spiritual world. That makes this material world also just like the spiritual world. That's the consciousness that transforms this material world to spiritual world. So Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, his pastime with Shachi Mata, this one is briefly mentioned here, that even Shachi Mata, the own mother of Lord Chaitanya did not even give her, he gave her punishment. So, Advaita Acharya is just mentioning it here. So this pastime, we will of course explain it in detail when it comes in chronology, but the way it happened is just a brief thing is that, Lord Chaitanya, his elder brother is Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa was very attached to Vaishnava Sangha. He would always, day and day out, he would always, day and night, be with Advaita Acharya Prabhu. He would always take association of Advaita Acharya Prabhu. So when Vishwarup took sannyas, Shachi Mata, she blamed Advaita Acharya that it is because of you that my son took sannyas. And he left home and he went away. So when Lord Chaitanya was giving out pure love of Krishna to everyone during the Mahaprakash Leela, at that time, Lord Chaitanya, even Shachi Mata came and Lord Chaitanya rejected. He said that unless you beg forgiveness from Advaita Acharya, you are not eligible to get love of God. So then Shachimata had to come and beg forgiveness from Sri Advaita Acharya, and Advaita Acharya said, Ma, you are my mother. You are the mother of the entire universe. How can I ever accept? I've never even felt offended or anything like that. So please. And then when Lord Chaitanya heard this, and then she somehow just took the dust of the lotus feet of Advaita Acharya on her head. And that's when Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, blessed Shachimata with Krishna Prema. So Lord Chaitanya did not even make an exception for his own mother. What to speak of any of us? That is the unbiased and the beautiful position of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu.
So we get back to this pastime of Kamalakanta Vishwas. He was listening to Advaita Acharya giving his own example of being punished and how he reacted, of Mukunda, how he reacted to punishment, of Sachimata, how she reacted to so-called chastisement and punishment by Lord Chaitanya. And Advaita Acharya told Kamalakanta Vishwas, don't worry, make sure you are grateful, and then I will come with you. And Advaita Acharya went to Jagannath Puri and told Lord Chaitanya, my dear Lord, I cannot understand your transcendental pastimes. You have shown more favor to my servant Kamalakanta Vishwas than you ever showed me. How is that possible? In fact, the favor that you have showed Kamalakanta Vishwas is so great that even to me, what you have not shown such. What offense did I commit? Why did you not show me this kind of favor? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he heard this, he started laughing. Advaita Acharya, what are you saying? And then he immediately understood that what is the meaning of Advaita Acharya.
So Advaita Acharya was saying that when I offended you, when you came to punish me, all you did is that you just beat me up and accepted me as your servant. You never said to me that you should never come in front of me. You never said that to me. I went against your philosophy. You are the proponent of saying that Mayavada Bhashya Shunale Hoy Sarvanash, that, listening to Mayavad philosophy is destroying our spiritual life. And I was doing that to get your mercy. But you never gave me such a harsh punishment or such a great punishment as you have given my servant Kamalakanta. So Lord Chaitanya understood the sweet mood of Advaita Acharya Prabhu's, speaking in this way. And then Lord Chaitanya immediately called, Kamalakanta Vishwas to his audience. He brought Kamalakanta in front of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya ordered him to come in front of him.
So Advaita Acharya, when he saw he had called Kamalakanta Vishwas, Advaita Acharya said, why have you called back this man and now you're allowing him to see you? Now he has cheated me in two ways. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he heard this, his mind was satisfied. Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra, Bhujana Bujhai. Only two great Vaishnavas can understand each other's minds. It is said it takes one to know one. If we have to find if someone is a pure devotee or not, we first have to become a pure devotee. Then we can identify a pure devotee. Otherwise, we'll just look at others from the impurity of our lenses. And so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was completely satisfied.
Thus, what was the two ways in which, Advaita Acharya is saying that, why did you cheat me in two ways? Why is Advaita Acharya saying this? That first of all, this Kamalakanta, he has, destroyed my reputation by saying and asking for, to clear my debt, to liquidate my debt. That is one cheating. Second cheating, you first of all punished him for this mistake, and now you're calling him back. You're reversing your own punishment. So this is also another cheating. What is this? So this is the way Advaita Acharya Prabhu is presenting himself. And he's saying that you seem to have cheated me, but actually, Advaita Acharya means that, my dear Lord, I'm so happy that you are giving your mercy. to my dear servant, Kamalakanta. So Advaita Acharya, although he's saying that he cheated, he's actually feeling great bliss that Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is giving so much mercy to his own servant in this way, that he considers Advaita Acharya, anyone who is connected with Advaita Acharya, Mahaprabhu considers him to be his own. So that is how Lord Chaitanya and Advaita Acharya, this was the beautiful exchange of mood, of rasas between Advaita Acharya and Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu.
And this kind of exchanges we will keep seeing throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita between Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Acharya and Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya and Gadādhara Pandit. And when we hear of these exchanges, they will seem seemingly so confusing. But actually, we should understand this is the kind of intimate relationship that they have with each other, that they joke with each other, they tease each other, they have this banter that's going on too, but all in the mood of service towards each other. And they may be pulling each other's leg in one sense, so to say, but it is all in a very respectful mood, and it is just between them. When we hear pastimes between Lord Nityananda and Advaita Acharya, Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur, how they speak to each other but it's all in a joking way. Although they are very serious when they say it, the other person understands that he's actually uh, joking. So therefore, it is said Lord Chaitanya was laughing when Advaita Acharya was complaining to Lord Chaitanya that why you did not give me that mercy. And then because of this interaction, Lord Chaitanya's mind was satisfied. And then he instructed Kamalakanta, you are a Bauliya. Bauliya means one who does not see things as they are. Why do you act in this way? Why did you invade the privacy of Advaita Acharya and damage his religious principles? By first telling he's Supreme Personality of Godhead, this is a very, very confidential thing. And if he is, then why, how can he have debt? Then why did you bring up the debt? So don't damage the religious principles like this.
Because Kamalakanta, he had asked, out of his own ignorance, he thought that he's doing a favor to, Advaita Acharya, but, he asked this favor, that please liquidate the amount that is owed by Advaita Acharya Prabhu, of this 300 rupees that Advaita Acharya Prabhu owed. But at the same time, he established Advaita Acharya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and which is a contradiction. Lord Chaitanya said, an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be indebted to anyone in this material world. So Lord Chaitanya is establishing the principles of Vaishnava dealings. That, someone who does not know things should not be able to, make a judgment, even though they know, they may feel that, yes, they know everything, but they should not be doing it. So then,
why did Advaita Acharya say that you have damaged his religious principles? Why did Lord Chaitanya tell Kamalakanta Vishwas that you've damaged Advaita Acharya's religious principles? He explains that because Advaita Acharya, Lord Chaitanya says, is my spiritual master, he should never accept charity from rich men, from kings, because if a guru, spiritual master, teacher accepts money or grains from such materialists, his mind will become polluted. And right now, Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu, but right now he is in the mood of his own devotee. So we must treat him as a spiritual master in the mood that he is come, and not damage his religious principles. And when one accepts, his mind is polluted in terms of we become indebted to the king. And then when the king really needs to hear the truth, the spiritual master will not be able to speak the truth because he is indebted to the king in that way. Therefore, the spiritual masters and the sannyasis, they should stay away from the rich men and some of their charities, according to Lord Chaitanya, so that they don't get indebted and they have to, speak, they have to compromise speaking the truth to them in any way. So then he said, because if he takes charity, he may become unpopular in the eyes of the people. And this damages his religiosity, his fame. And a Vaishnava, especially who acts as spiritual master, must not set this example. And very conscious they should be of this fact. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this instruction to Kamalakanta, everyone considered that this is meant for everyone, not just for Kamalakanta Vishwas. And so Advaita Acharya was very much pleased. This pastime explains only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand the intentions of Advaita Acharya, and Advaita Acharya appreciated the grave instruction of Lord Chaitanya. So here we are discussing glories of Advaita Acharya and the tree and the branches of Advaita Acharya. So the fifth branch was Sri Yadunandan Acharya of Advaita Acharya, who had many branches, sub-branches. It is impossible to write all of them, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, but this Yadunandan Acharya, he was the guru of, family guru of Raghunath Das Goswami. Yadunandan Acharya was the official initiator, spiritual master of Raghunath Das Goswami. But Shiksha Guru was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In other words, when Raghunath Das Goswami was a householder, Yadunandan Acharya initiated him at home. And later, Raghunath Das Goswami took Shiksha shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. But Yadunandan Acharya was one of the associates of Advaita Acharya. He was in fact the student of Vasudev Datta, the devotee who prayed, please give me all the sins of everyone. And therefore he could accept Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet as the supreme shelter. So Yadunandan Acharya is a great devotee, disciple of Vasudev Datta. Then there were Bhagavat Acharya, Vishnu Das, Chakrapani Acharya, Ananta Acharya. They are the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th branches of Advaita Acharya. This ends the Advaita Acharya branches.
So now let's briefly take a look at the branches of Gadādhara Prabhu. You know, branches of Gadādhara Prabhu, they are very, they are numerous, innumerable. And this chapter concludes with that. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Gadādhara Pandit, he had innumerable devotees who were branches and sub-branches coming down from Gadādhara Pandit. And it's impossible to narrate each and every one of them. But Gadādhara Pandit, he had some chief branches, and they were Sri Dhruvananda, Sridhar Brahmachari, Haridas Brahmachari, and Raghunath Bhagavat Acharya. The 5th branch was Ananta Acharya. The 6th was Kavidatta. The 7th was Nayana Mishra. The 8th was Ganga Mantri. The 9th was Mamu Thakur. And the 10th was Kantha Bharana. So Mamu Thakur, he is mentioned here as the 9th branch of Sri Gadādhara Pandit. Mamu Thakur is a very special personality whom we had discussed when we were discussing about Tota Gopinath during our Jagannath Puri Yatra. So Mamu Thakur, his real name is actually Jagannath Chakravarti. Jagannath Chakravarti is the nephew of Sri Nilambar Chakravarti. So therefore, he is actually the Nilambar Chakravarti is the grandfather of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So Jagannath Chakravarti was the maternal uncle of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So maternal uncle is called as Mama. And according to East Bengal, Mama is said to be Mamu, So Mamu Thakur means, the maternal uncle of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So Jagannath Chakravarti was famous as Mamu Thakur because he is the maternal uncle of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And it is said that after the disappearance of Srila Gadādhara Pandit, that Mamu Thakur was the one who continued the great worship, the celebrated worship of Sri Tota Gopinath at Jagannath Puri.
Then the 11th branch of Gadādhara Pandit was Bhugarbha Goswami. and the 12th was Bhagavad Das. Both of them went to Vrindavan and they resided there for life. 13th branch of Gadādhara Pandit was Vaninath Brahmachari. 14th was Vallabha Caitanya Das, and both of them were great devotees who were always in love with Krishna. And all of these different followers of Gadādhara Pandit are considered great devotees. Why? Because they have Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu, as their life and soul. Now, if we simply remember these branches and these sub-branches and the trunks that are described of Nityananda Prabhu, of Advaita Acharya, of Gadādhara Pandits, simply by listening, one attains freedom from the entanglement of material existence.
Hari 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 Bo.
And when we remember all these Vaishnavas, we can attain the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, is what is announced by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Indeed, he says, simply by remembering their holy names. Whose holy names? Of all these devotees and the Vaishnavas and the branches and sub-branches of Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and Gadādhara Pandit, one can achieve the fulfillment of all desires. So as we are speaking, this was the 19th branch, this was the 13th branch. Sometimes it would be, oh, I don't know, I've never heard of them, it's so boring, I don't know, maybe I don't want to hear. But if you just hear the names of these acharyas, then it'll give the achievement, fulfillment of all desires.
So this is the Falastuti. Falastuti means what is the benefit of reciting these particular chapters. But we need to understand that this is what is the benefit, that we get the fulfillment of all our desires just by chanting the holy names of these great personalities.
So therefore, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ends this chapter by saying, I offer my obeisances at the lotus feet of all these Vaishnavas, and I'll continue to describe the pastimes of the gardener, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in chronological order.
Hari Hari Bo. So thus we come to the conclusion of this chapter. So these first 12 chapters of Sri Adi Leela of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita are called as invocation chapters. And now we can understand why these are called as invocation chapters, because by mentioning the names of these great personalities, of these great associates of the Lord, we are actually invoking the mercy of the Supreme Lord upon us, so that we can become qualified, we can receive the adhikar by their mercy to dive into the nectarian ocean of the pastimes of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the oceanic pastimes of the most munificent, the most merciful, the most amazing personality, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So today we will sing the Hare Krishna Kirtan in dedicating to Sri Anju Mataji's mother, and so that her family may become healthy and attain the mercy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Lord Nrsingadev.
May Lord Nrsingadev protect Anjudi's mother and also her entire family, her brother, Bhabiji, everyone. May they be free, and for all the devotees, for all the people around the world who are, affected by this pandemic, we pray for everyone. And especially this chanting session today, we dedicate to Anju Mataji and her beautiful family. So we request all devotees to please pray. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jwalantam Sarvatomukham Narasimham Vishanam Bhadram Mrityurnamamyaham. Shri Nrsimha Jai Nrsimha Jai 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 Shri Nrsimha Praladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Pringa. Jai Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki Jai.
If any of you would like to also like for us to dedicate the kirtan for the benefit of any of you or your family members, please let the administrators know, and we will be happy to dedicate the kirtan in for their benefits.
It will be our great fortune to dedicate a kirtan for you and your family. So please, you can personally message us, or you can message any of the admins, and we'll definitely dedicate the kirtan session in your and your family's name. So before we open up the lines, here's the quiz session for day 10.
First, what does Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mean by false followers of Sri Advaita Acharya and real followers of Sri Advaita Acharya? Second, what is the big sub-branch of Sri Advaita Acharya?
Third, name the 6 sons of Sri Advaita Acharya. Fourth, how Sri Advaita Acharya established the supremacy of Lord Caitanya.
Fifth, why Kamalakanta Vishwas requested Maharaj Pratap Rudra to liquidate the debt of Sri Advaita Acharya. Sixth, why Sri Advaita Acharya glorified the Mayavad philosophy.
Seventh, how Mukunda reacted when Lord Caitanya punished him. Eighth, what is the secret to transform a curse into a blessing?
Ninth, why Lord Chaitanya rejected Sachi Mata to receive love of Godhead. 10th, how can one identify the pure devotee of the Lord?
11th, why Lord Chaitanya say that Kamalakanta Vishwas has damaged the religious principles of Sri Advaita Acharya? 12th, who is the family guru of Raghunath Das Goswami?
13th, name the chief branches of Gadādhara Pandit. 14th, who is the maternal uncle of Lord Chaitanya?
15th, what is the benefit of remembering the names of all of these Vaishnavas? Thank you so much, Ranjani Gopika, for these fantastic, beautiful questions. Thank you so much. So now let's open up the lines. Garima?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam, all glories to Shri Prabhupada and Gurudev. And I understood your class. Who was it? I remember that. Achyutananda was so fortunate that he could even sit on the lap of like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that was so amazing for me that like he could sit on the lap of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes.
And mostly in every story, you said that like you didn't say, but I like understood that in every story Chaitanya was giving punishments and then rewarding, and punishment and rewarding. Yeah, it was so like amazing to see that the like punishment and then the reward.
Yes. The
I
reward
I
was
really
based on
like
the
this
way
class.
the reward was based on the way that Lord Chaitanya would see how the devotees who were punished, how they are reacting, and then the reward would be very, very special.
Yeah, I understand. I have one question.
Yes.
That you, Gaurachandra, we call sometimes Gaurachandra. Now, can we also call like Nitai Chandra, because Nitai is kind of copper and like Chandra is like the moon. So do we call him Nitai Chandra?
He's called Nitai Chand. Instead of
Nitai
Nitai Chandra,
Chand.
yeah, Nitai Chand. Nitai Chande Koruna Koru. What that? So there is also Nityananda's lotus feet is Koti Chandra Sushitala. That it is like not just one Chandra, Koti Chandra, thousands of moons, millions of moons is Koti Chandra.
Yeah.
So he can be called as Nitai Chandra.
Yeah.
He can be called as Nitai Chand.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you so much. I colored to this Govardhan.
Beautiful. Please send us a picture, beta. It's beautiful.
Rivo.
So nice.
Thank you, Mataji and
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
beta. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare
Hare Krishna, beta. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Anjali?
Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Shri Radha.
I don't have words to say, deep gratitude for dedicating that song for my mom. Today, I'm not in a position to on my video. And I understand, the way you have explained today, so many of my questions were answered by attending the class today. So many questions was answered that internally only we have to feel it, how we had deep gratitude towards the Lord. Externally, it is not the thing. And really, वो कहते हैं ना जो सारा ज्ञान तो रहता है, but when we are connected with these classes and all, actually it gives you so much of inner strength, which nothing in the world can give you. It keeps on reminding you, it keeps on pushing you back. भगवान जी परीक्षा लेते रहते हैं. It's okay. He keeps on giving the strength. And आप लोग के जैसे you are with us. तो फिर कोई चिंता की बात नहीं है. भगवान जी तो है ही है, but आप लोग के थ्रू वो और बता भी देते हैं कि हाँ मैं हूँ, चिंता मत करो, बस it's okay. आपका कर्म है बस. आप उसकी फल की इच्छा मत करो. Just do your कर्म. I just have one question. When I listen to these stories, these pastimes of Lord, how they could be so humble, so polite. I just don't know. Humility, like chalakti hai. It is so much of humility, so much of grace, so much of faith, so much of thing.
Yeah, that's
How is it?
because the Lord has come to set an example of how to be a devotee. How to be a devotee means how to please Krishna. A devotee is not a title. A devotee is anyone who has the desire to please Krishna, at least. And so here, Lord Chaitanya, Advaita Acharya, by their example, they are actually stating how to please the Lord, what attitude. And the biggest thing that pleases the Lord is the attitude of humility, because it is said that opposites attract, opposite poles. The Lord is the supreme. So if we also try to be great, then we will repel. But if the Lord is great and we be humble, then we get attracted.
Very well.
Hari Bol. It's so much. That's why I would say thank you, such a small word. Please, I'm so much grateful to you having your deep association, deep gratitude for your kind words, your for unconditional love. Bhaiya and Bhavi, I just like you are my inner strength, my everything, and I just always looks towards you. राधा कृष्ण नरसिंह देव भगवान जी तो हैं ही हैं, पर साथ में कहते हैं ना गुरु, शिक्षा गुरु, and our gurus all are all with us, and all the association and love, everything will be fine. Just pray for my mother more and more. She's in deep pain, very helpless situation we are in. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Dee. We are praying for whatever little our prayers may be worth. We are praying for Mama and for Bhaiya Bhabhi also. So we pray for your family.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Shri Radhe.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we can end here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Mataji, one question.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Krishna Sharanam Prabhu.
Today I thought I'll read the Chaitanya Charitamrita and read chapter 12. It took me over 2 hours and I remember half of it. But you guys, I don't know how you do it every day. Read chapters and chapters, hundreds of verses, remember everything and summarize, and it's just amazing. I don't understand how you are doing. But I have one question. All these incarnations, like we see Achyuta was Achyutananda was Achyuta, and there is Vrishabhanu Prabhu, and there is Satyabhama. So how these revealed, I mean, who revealed these incarnations, how they are, how we have come to know about those?
Yeah, that's a very nice question. There is a devotee by the name Kavi Karnapura. He is the son of Shivananda Sen.
One of the sons.
One of the sons. Yesterday or day before we had discussed.
Yesterday.
Shivananda Sen is the devotee who was a very wealthy devotee. He used to arrange for devotees of Bengal to every year go from Bengal to Jagannath Puri to meet Lord Chaitanya. Hundreds of devotees would want to meet Lord Chaitanya. So during Rath Yatra, generally devotees go to Jagannath Puri during Rath Yatra, and this time more and more devotees every year wanted to go, because it's not only Rath Yatra, but they get to meet Lord Chaitanya as well. And so this devotee of Lord Chaitanya, Shivananda Sen, he used to arrange for, on the way from Bengal to Jagannath Puri, there were so many tax collectors that would be there. So they had to staying in that area, because they would walk and then they had to stay somewhere. All those staying arrangements, walking arrangements, all the collectors, money that has to be given, everything would be sponsored by Shivananda Sen. And one of his sons was Kavi Karnapura. And he was blessed by Lord Chaitanya in his childhood. And he actually wrote a book called Gaur Ganodesh Deepika. And in that book, he has revealed who is who from Chaitanya Leela, who is who in Krishna Leela. accordingly, who has come as Lord Chaitanya's associates from Krishna Lila. So that book is there, and
And
yeah.
Srila Prabhupada actually quotes from that book in the purports of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you would have read today in chapter 12, you'll see that most of the Gadādhara Pandit are actually none other than the millions of gopis. All of Gadādhara Pandit's associates are actually gopis and manjaris. It's very special.
Because Gadādhara Pandit is none other than
Srimati Radharani. And the associates of Lord Nityananda, they are all gopas of Brajalila. They're all the sakhas, the gop sakhas of Brajalila. They have come as Nityananda's associates. So like this, Kavi Karnapura in his Gaura Ganadesh Deepika, he reveals everything. And the writings of Gaura Ganadesh Deepika, or any writing of Kavi Karnapura, is nectar to the ears. That's why he was given the name Karnapura. That anyone who reads what Kavi Karnapura has written, Lord Chaitanya will always enter through their ear and reside in their heart. That is the benediction of this name, Kavi Karnapura. So he has written amazing books like Ananda Vrindavan Champu and esoteric pastimes of the Lord were revealed to Kavi Karnapura. Very empowered devotee of the Lord.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Harini Sevika Mataji, you have a question?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavad Pranam, Mataji and Prabhuji. Thank you so much for your classes, Mataji. Really amazing it is. I'll be waiting for the class actually. What time it will start like that. So actually my question is, Mataji, if anyone asks, my senior devotees ask how your sadhana is going on, if I tell yes, Mataji, I'm getting up, I'm doing and all, after 1 or 2 days that and all goes off. In the sense, I come back like I'll get up late, like. So what I have done, if I tell to others, if Maya attacks or what happens, I don't know, it will change. Again, I'll go back to this in Maya world. So I'm getting scared to tell others also what I'm doing. So this happens to everyone. This happens to everyone, or how it is, Mataji? Because I've experienced this many times, and I have told to others also. They said for us also it happens sometimes like that. 1 or 2 persons have told. So it's true, or how it is, Mataji? I'm only thinking like that.
One time, Srila Prabhupada also asked a devotee, how is your chanting going? What are you feeling? And that devotee said, yes, Prabhupada, everything is fine. Everything is going so well. I'm just relishing, so wonderful. So then after that devotee left, Srila Prabhupada told other devotees that if someone is saying that my spiritual life is going very nice, then that means he's not doing anything properly. But if he's saying that, oh, I have so many challenges and there are so many things, that means that person is really implementing. This is what Srila Prabhupada said in general. I mean, it doesn't mean that it applies to you in that sense. But I'm just saying that when we are chanting, definitely we'll get so many challenges and obstacles. And sometimes because of social relationship, when we don't want to reveal everything to everyone, all the challenges that we are facing. But those who are are those who we consider as our Shiksha Gurus, who we take guidance from, when they ask, we should reveal the real challenges that are there. Of course, we should be mindful not to reveal any and every devotee, because we don't know what their intentions are. How would will they keep this confidential? Will they? But those who are our well-wishers and we have faith in them, that they will help us confidentially, we should reveal to them what challenges we are really facing, and that way we will be helped. So it is not so much as to what you are answering, but in what mood we are answering. So if we are answering, and I'm not, you know your mood best, and so we are just giving you some tips here and there which you can pick and choose and see if it applies to you. If not, then that's not really for you. But when someone asks how is it going, we may say yes, it's going very fine. But in what mood are we saying? Are we getting a little bit of pride while we are saying that in our mind? That, oh yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. If this is what we are actually feeling, then Krishna can tolerate anything except pride in a devotee.
Right.
And so sometimes he may want to,
take a needle and just burst that balloon. So there may be some apparent challenges after that, but that's a way of Krishna telling us that, be humble.
But at the same time, we can still say, yes, everything is going very fine. Socially, we may have to say to some people, but then we be careful that we are saying it in a mood of gratitude and not pride should not come in by any chance. But if we say the same thing in a mood of gratitude, that, oh, I'm very thankful and grateful that by Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy, things are, progressing. I'm just completely dependent on them. And I really don't deserve this, but I'm feeling very nice. That is their mercy, which I don't deserve. Something like that. At least we think like that. We don't have to say so many words, but if we are saying it out of gratitude and not allow pride to come, then Krishna will, because Krishna doesn't see our words. He goes right into our consciousness, right into why we are speaking what we are speaking, in what mood are we speaking. So if we maintain a proper mood of gratitude and humility while we are speaking the same words, then maybe you can see if that applies to you. Maybe you are already speaking in a humble attitude, definitely, and in a grateful mood. But sometimes Krishna does that with devotees, and if he does that, that is his mercy upon you. That is so much. That means you're so dear to Krishna. He cares for you, because Krishna or devotees' glorification, or Krishna or devotees' chastisement, they are both mercy. What is not a mercy is when Krishna or his devotees neglect us, or Krishna or his devotees completely ignore us. Okay, you do whatever you want. I will not. But if Krishna is intervening in some way, which is apparently in a good way, or apparently it may look not so good, but then actually it's for ultimate good, like we saw in so many pastimes today, that is his mercy. That is because he cares for us. That should excite us. Wow, Krishna is personally trying to correct me, or do those things. So you can see if that is the case. But in general, yes, to senior devotees who are well-wishers, you should reveal the challenges. To others, we can socially say, yeah, everything is fine, and at that time make sure we are grateful.
And at the same time,
yes, Mother.
Sorry. And at the same time, just be a little mindful that, when we are revealing, that we should not be revealing to everyone also. Revealing to everyone sometimes, like, also, it fuels our ego a little bit. So, we should just reveal in confidence to our seniors, our Shiksha Guru, our mentor, and take guidance from them on how to improve. Always be on the level of wanting to improve, wanting to do better. Then Krishna is really, really pleased.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. I became more emotional actually when Prabhuji was telling. I was becoming very emotional actually, really very heart touching, because of your classes and mercy, many transformation had happened during the 10 classes itself happened to me. Even children also, truth and all really inspired me to do more things actually, more to read the scriptures actually. The small children, how many hours they are spending to read scriptures, I am not doing. So I was feeling so bad and I started doing it. So all glories to him really. So this classes, and you're really both of you empowered by the Guru Maharaj Mataji, really. So because of your things also, we are also getting transformed actually. So our things are getting up, really changes are there. So I want to share this. Thank you so much. I want to keep always touch with you all. And thank you so much the love you have given Kalasudha Mataji, because immediately you answered after when you gave the throwback class of our Guru Maharaj. By that itself, I was so inspired, and immediately I find you in Facebook, and I send you a messenger message, and immediately you replied me. So that one thing is inspired me. So that much love you show to us. So really, it's like I didn't understand. You're all a celebrity like for me, and I didn't. I felt like how I got touch with you like that. So if I tell to my friends like I am attending Kalasudha Mataji's class, they are very shocked. Kalasudha Mataji's class, like that they are asking me. So I was so blessed actually. So thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Really, we are very gratitude to your love and affection, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, Dandavat Pranam.
We are so grateful. Both of us are just trying to be humble instruments in the hands of our spiritual masters. So we beg for all of your blessings so that somehow we can continue to serve for the pleasure of our spiritual masters and make them proud. That's our only desire. And we can serve you. So Mataji, please let us know if you were able to get the deities in Sheshadripuram temple. If not, we'll arrange for deities for you from Mayapur Dham. I've talked to my parents, so that's possible.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Thank you so
much.
So
if you want that, anyways, we can do that because you'll get special mercy from Mayapur Dham directly.
That's what, Mataji. That's the thing I thought, and from great Vaishnava's hand, I'm going to get. So I was so happy, but I can understand the situation also in Mayapur now, how it is. So that's why when you said, I thought.
No, I spoke to my parents. It should be okay. No problem.
No problem means then you can do that, Mataji, because from Mayapur I want. Yes, Mataji, I'll message you, Mataji.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
There was one Manasi K who had raised your hand, and then I guess you had.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I thought it would be getting late for you,
Oh,
so
no,
that's
no,
why
no,
I kind of lowered my hand,
Mataji. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, my question was, I'm really enjoying the beautiful leelas that you're telling. It's really, really wonderful. It's like having a bath, early in the morning with your voice and everything. And, when you told about Caitanya Charitamrita, how, how we can think about the leelas and go to Navadvip Dham. And from there, we can go into all the beautiful leelas. I wanted to know the process for doing that, because when we think of the lotus feet of Krishna, we are eligible to go to, Golok Dham, which is written in the purport, of Man Manam Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. Prabhupada tells us how we can, look at the bluish form of the Lord. So I wanted to know, how can we go to the Navadvip Dham? So can you just direct me and give me your blessing so that I can go there?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, we are not qualified to bless, but our heartfelt prayers are always with you. And the beautiful form of the Lord. Actually, from our next session, from tomorrow, we will be seeing how the beauty, we are diving in, actually. We are, this first 12 chapters are called as the invocation chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita, that we are invoking the blessings of the associates of the Lord. And we are establishing the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is not different from Sri Radha and Krishna. So all of this is the invocation chapters, where we are getting the adhikar so that we can actually dive in to the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So from our next session, you'll see how the appearance of Lord Chaitanya is described in chapter 13. So we are starting to enter into that divine realm, so it is coming from tomorrow onwards. But nonetheless, Lord Chaitanya is so merciful that, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, when we sing the Panchatattva prayers in the morning. Advaita Acharya Prabhu is glorified that Tavo Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nitai, that by the mercy of Advaita Acharya, we get the mercy of Chaitanya and Nityananda. You know, so this is the way the parampara works, that we depend on the mercy of the associates of Gauranga Mahaprabhu to be able to be qualified to enter into the Dham. So it will be revealed more in detail as we keep going forward. And the divine form of the Lord, we will have a very special session also to describe the beauty of Lord Gauranga. You know, what is the exact bodily features, so that we can meditate on the lotus feet, starting from the lotus nails, the toenails of Lord Chaitanya, up to the, you know, hair of Lord Gauranga. We will be describing, a very special session will be dedicated to that. So just stay tuned.
Okay, Mataji. So it's coming. Yeah.
It is coming.
Because that there was no mention of it. So then I kept it in my mind that I will ask this question. I waited for a few days after that. Maybe it will be revealed. But yes, if you're telling it will be revealed, I will.
Yes, it is coming.
Stay
We
tuned.
are just still at the shores. You know, we are just, our feet is starting to get wet by the ocean of the nectarian mellows of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's prema. So we have to enter the waters now. Tomorrow we'll start entering the waters.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to you and everyone. Dandavat pranams.
Any other questions? Okay, if not, we can end here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare.
Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Lovely class today. Lovely class. Lovely class.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji and Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, beta. Hare Bol.